Welcome back to the Mid-Year YouTube channel. Today's episode, we're going to compare popular quarter panels for your C2 Corvette, so be sure to stick around. So I'm working on this 63 convertible. We're reskinning the body with fiberglass, and now it's time to install the quarter panels. So I have a couple different options here in front of us. So this is a stock quarter panel that would be on all 63 to 67 Corvettes. This is a quarter panel flare from Stinger fiberglass that is 1.5 inches wider. And then the most aggressive quarter panel we have is this 2.5 inch wide quarter panel from Dynamic Corvettes, and it is a full quarter panel front to back, but let me tell you, she's wide. So our first quarter panel option is the stock quarter panel for a 63-7 Corvette. You can see it does have just a little bit of curve to the front of the door, then it's straight. You can see side to side. I've actually installed both of these quarter panels on this car already, so you can see what way we went on this car. So I have the Stinger fiberglass 1.5 inch wide quarter panel flare on the car, and you can see real quick what I mean by that there's not enough material here. I talked to the guys over at Stinger Fiberglass, and they said that they designed this quarter panel in a way that you don't have to worry about removing this bonding strip. You would cut the quarter panel off the car, lay this one on top, you'd cut the quarter, and you'd splice the two together right here. And it's short the whole way to the bottom to this wraparound of the bonding strip. The bumper covers this area. This area is down below your eyesight, and this is the only area you're really going to see whenever you bodywork the car, if it would ever show a seam. But it's also an area that there would be a seam right here regardless. So it's really not that big of a deal to do that. But overall, the shape is a little more aggressive than the stock, which you can really tell from looking down the side of it. Also, I have little donuts in the car. That really doesn't help, but it's got some hips. Overall, the fitment's nice. There's a lot of extra material here that needs to be trimmed off to get this to fit, but I'd rather it be long than short. So it's pretty obvious whenever you compare the quarter panel from the passenger side to a stock quarter panel on the driver's side. If you watch the curve of the body, you can see there is a slight curve in the stock quarter panel, and from in front of the quarter panel to the front end, it's fairly straight. The front end does have a very slight curve, but it's very slight compared to the quarter panel. So keep that in mind. And now compare it to this side. So this side is definitely more aggressive. It's not too aggressive. So I have the final quarter panel mocked up on the Corvette, and this is definitely the most aggressive panel. So keep this thought in your mind. Watch the curve of the quarter, and then watch it in front of the door. And then look at this. So this panel, if you look at a stock car, has a good bit of arc. But when you compare it to this side, the stock quarter panel almost looks 100% flat. Just because there's so much shape in this, they had to really exaggerate this shape to be able to get 2.5 inches of extended quarter panel. So this is, again, a nice quality part, but it is also very extreme in its shape. I mean, I think it's different. I think you would have to have a pretty extreme resto mod to pull this off and not have space-saving donut tires. One advantage this panel has over the Stinger part is it is a full quarter panel, but again, that's not really a big deal to modify the Stinger panel, and it also has a little bit more of a gap here, so I think they designed it so there's less trimming involved. No, I just quickly threw this quarter panel on here. It's not in its final home. In my opinion, the hardest place for these quarter panels to get right is this transition right here. On a stock quarter panel, this lays down pretty flat, but when you flare the quarter panel out 2.5 inches, you know, this is what, 6 inches wide, 5 inches wide. Whenever you flare it out here, this ramps out dramatically. So if we lean in against the side here, you can see how dramatically this has to ramp out. It's not like it's a bad look, but it just becomes more obvious that your car has wide quarters. One thing to note about these quarters is they don't have a wheel lip right here. So you can hopefully see, it kind of tapers away and it just becomes a sharp line, which that helps you get extra rubber back here. But also I've noticed these quarters are older and they've been sitting on the shelf for a while, so they've lost a little bit of their shape. Now I think you can stretch it over the car and it'll be fine, but there's probably a reason GM had, you know, a lip there. I think they made it thicker to compensate for that. It's probably fine, and because of the curve of it, it should be good, but that's just something to take note of. In my opinion, I think a stock quarter panel, if it is an original GM quarter panel, it should fit up to your car really well, or if it is an aftermarket reproduction, whether it's hand laid or press molded. I've heard really good things about certain brands of press molded fiberglass, but this is an original GM quarter, so we were able to just pretty much slap it on the car with a little bit of tweaking, but it fit really nice. Form fits really nice. Just needed a couple repairs here and there, but my buddy already had these in stock, so these were free to him. So my overall impression of the Stinger quarter panels, they will require a little bit of work to get them to fit. To modify the back, they need a little bit of trimming, and they have this front flange in here, which in my opinion needs to be removed to glue them in. But the quality's nice, and they are affordably priced. I think you could get away with this on a fairly mild custom. It would look stock. If you parked it next to another Corvette, you'd be able to tell. But if you'd park this next to like a Camaro, I don't think you would really notice offhand. Maybe 9 people out of 10 wouldn't even notice it's a wide quarter panel. It still has the factory line. It still has that original character. So if you're going for a mild custom, mild resto mod, or like a race car, I think this is a good choice. So my overall opinion of these quarter panels is, you know, they are a nice part. I think to pull this look off, you need to have their wide front end, or a front end that's a little bit wider, just because it's really obvious that she's got a lot going on back here and nothing going on up there. It's just, to me, it's a little too aggressive. I like the original shape of the quarter panel. I think they nailed it. You can still get a good bit of wheel and tire under these, which you can check out another video I made on that. If you stagger it correctly, you get the right offset, you can still get a good bit of meat under these. And if you get a really good tire, you're gonna have a hard time breaking them loose. With the Misfit, I had a 500 horsepower 327, and that thing did burnouts, but she just wanted to hook up. So if you wanted to get a sticky tire under here, you don't need this aggressive of a quarter panel. You just pick a good tire. I think this is pretty cool if you're building a road race car or something that you're gonna paint bright orange, something that's in your face and custom. This definitely screams it. But if you wanna be classy, you wanna paint your car kind of a silver blue, like a Mossport green, something along those lines, I think an original style quarter or a Stinger quarter would work well for you. But light colors, impact colors, I think would work better for this. But that's gonna do it for this video. If you enjoyed, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I have a lot of work to do on this '63 Corvette, so I'll catch you guys later.